Shabbat Shalom, family. Our selection today is Plenty Good Room.
Plenty good room, plenty good room, plenty good room in my Father's kingdom. Plenty good room, plenty good room. Just choose your seat and sit down. Plenty good room, plenty good room, plenty good room in my Father's kingdom. Plenty good room, plenty good room. Just choose your seat and sit down.
I would not be a liar. I'll tell you the reason why. I'm afraid my young might call on me, and I wouldn't be ready to die. That's why there's
Plenty good room, plenty good room,
yeah,
plenty good room in my Father's
in my
kingdom.
Father's kingdom.
Plenty good room. Just choose your seat and sit down.
I would not be a cheater. I'll tell you the reason why. I'm afraid my young might call on me, and I wouldn't be ready to die. That's why
Plenty
there's
good room, plenty good room,
yeah,
plenty good room in my Father's
in my
kingdom.
Father's kingdom.
Plenty good room. Just choose your seat and sit down.
I would not be a sinner. I'll tell you the reason why. I'm afraid my young might call on me, and I wouldn't be ready to die. That's why
Plenty
there's
good room, plenty good room,
yeah,
plenty good room in my Father's
in my
kingdom.
Father's
Plenty good room,
kingdom.
plenty good room. Just choose your seat and sit down.
See, yeah,
Plenty good room,
yeah,
plenty good room, plenty good room in my Father's
in my
kingdom.
Father's
Plenty good room,
kingdom.
plenty good room. Just choose your seat and sit down. Just choose your seat and sit down. Just choose your seat and sit down. Choose your seat and sit down.
The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby ye are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becometh saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's Holy Sabbath Day. Today we're going to deal with assessing the authority. If we pay attention, the nations are doing the very thing for their father Lucifer. They are moving and trying to get us in control as much as possible. I saw a video this morning about an enormous amount of military gear being shipped on a train. And I've seen that before coming here, that they have military depots where there's not a military base. Humvees, tanks, they have them right down the street from here. Why do they have those things there, and what are they preparing for? Well, they are about to deal with who has the authority. You know, we can talk all we want to. You know, it's like somebody can say, you know, I have the deed to this land. Yeah, but I got a gun. So let's take the piece of paper and put it up against a 40 cal. I think the 40 gonna win. So when we talk about dealing with this situation of authority and dealing with it, when we talk about getting our houses in order, the adversary, the devil, is doing the same thing. Yeah, all he does is mimic Yahweh. So he is gathering his forces together. This is why we're having some of the things that we're seeing. This whole, if you don't take this jab, you may lose your job. You may lose this. Your insurance may go up $200. This is how they are standing on their authority to do the things that they need to do for their father, the devil. And you're going to have to do what you got to do to stand on your ground for Yahweh, our Elohim. But you have to make a decision on what that is and what that's going to mean to you. Let's begin today in Psalms chapter 71.
Psalms chapter 71 and verse 1. In you, O Yahweh, do I put my trust. Let me never be put to confusion.
Now that's really easy to read. It's something altogether different when you are in the midst of turmoil. Okay? Just like Cephas said, I will never deny you. When he got around them people and they were getting ready to kill him, I don't know, Yahshua. Yahshua who? So everybody think they're going to do something. And this is why the older people who have been through things try to explain to the younger ones, hey, I hear what you're saying. It sounds really good. But when you hear that bullet go past your ear and you get that whistle sound, I'm telling you, you're going to get a totally different thought process at that point. Go ahead.
Deliver me in your righteousness and cause me to escape. Incline your ear unto me and save me. Be you my strong habitation, whereunto I may continually resort. You have given commandment to save me, for you are my rock and my fortress.
Right. It say, admonish one another in psalms and hymns. These are things that we may have to say to ourselves, and these are things that we may have to repeat to one another. People go around trying to memorize Zechariah and memorize prophecy. You may have to sing these songs and write and these poems to yourself when all hell get ready to break loose. Go ahead.
You know, brother, in these times, you know, we come in where somebody, oh, why are you talking to me like that? And, you know, we've also built a comfort zone for our children that is not going to be conducive for what's coming because of what we went through when growing up. And it says, raise up a child in the way they should go. We all kind of think of scriptures, but not realizing that we need to teach y'all hardship too. We need to teach you how to make decisions in the midst of chaos.
Yes.
Because it's coming. And because we've sheltered most of y'all, guys aren't prepared. Verse 4, deliver me, O my Elohim, out of the hand of the wicked, out of the hand of the unrighteous and cruel man. For you are my hope, O Adonai Yahweh, you are my trust, and you are my trust from my youth. By you have I been holden up from the womb. You are he that took me out of my mother's bowels. My praise shall be continually of you. I am as a wanderer unto many, but you are my strong refuge. Let my mouth be filled with your praise and with your honor all the day. Cast me not off in the time of old age. Forsake me not when my strength fails. For mine enemies speak against me, and they that lay wait for my soul take counsel against me, saying, Elohim has forsaken him. Persecute and take him, for there is none to deliver him.
And you know, that's one thing that Yahweh does. Yahweh pauses so that he can see the hearts of men. Yahweh will let something appear a certain way. Just like he said, I'm not going to take all of these people away from you. I'm going to leave some of them there to prove whether or not you're going to serve me or no. So he leaves things available. See, Yahweh will put $100 bill on the counter just to see if you're going to take it. I mean, the earth and the fullness therein is his. He don't care nothing about the $100. He just put it on the counter to see, that dude say he speak truth and do this stuff. Leave that out right there. Let's see what happens. Not even knowing that we are the ones that's under the test. See, for sure what he wasn't going to do. And it's not like Yahweh condemned him after. Yahshua had already told him what he was going to do and had already prepared to help him for where he was going to fall. But think about it. Yahshua couldn't tell a grown man, hey, I'm telling you what you're going to do. We had the same problem here. You tell a grown man, all right, I'm telling you what's going to happen. No, not to me. All right. Okay. Wait on it. Go ahead.
O Elohim, be not far from me. O my El, make haste for my help. Let them be confounded and consumed that are adversaries to my soul. Let them be covered with reproach and dishonor that seek my hurt. But I will hope continually, and will yet praise you more and more. My mouth shall show forth your righteousness and your salvation all the day. For I know not the numbers thereof. I will go in the strength of the Adonai Yah. I'll make mention of your righteousness, even of yours only. O Elohim, you have taught me from my youth, and hitherto have I declared your wondrous works. Now also, when I'm old and gray-headed, O Elohim, forsake me not, until I have showed your strength unto this generation, and your power to everyone that is to come. Your righteousness also, O El, is very high. Who has done great things? O Elohim, who is like unto you? You, which have showed me great and sore troubles, shall quicken me again, and shall bring me up again from the depths of the earth. You shall increase my greatness and comfort me on every side. I will also praise you with the psaltery, even your truth, O my Elohim, unto you will I sing with the harp, O you Holy One of Israel. My lips shall greatly rejoice when I sing unto you, and my soul, which you have redeemed. My tongue also shall talk of your righteousness all the day long, for they are confounded, for they are brought unto shame that seek my hurt.
All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 12.
You know, my brother, in verse 20 on Psalm 71 there, you know, we always talk about the clues of the fact that man didn't go off into heaven. David gave one right there. He said, you shall quicken me again and shall bring me up again from the depths of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
If this is a man after Yahweh's heart, why he ain't coming down from heaven?
Right. But it's easy to believe in a fairy tale. That's why it's easier to not follow the authoritative figures that Yahweh has placed there to do the job. You get a fairy tale from your friend around the corner. You get an authoritative thing that's going to save your soul from the people that Yahweh say, all right, I'm going to hold you responsible if this doesn't happen. See, the fairy tale person does not have that weight on them. The person who has the authority ends up also suffering the worst because of what either happens or does not happen. So then their workload is going to be totally different. They're going to work totally different. When you got somebody, when you get them zero down deals, it ain't nothing invested. You know, you ain't putting nothing in. No payment for 5 years. You plan on leaving in 3. Ain't no big deal. But when you got $2,000 in the bank and you had to put $1,500 on that, hey man, we not finna lose this. I got something invested. I got something to lose now. It's totally different. Look at the difference between when you buy your kids clothes and when your kids buy your kids clothes. When they buy their own clothes, they treat them clothes different. I noticed you hung up the blue one and the red one's on the floor. Now I noticed I bought the red one, but you bought the blue one. What's happening here? What am I looking at? Well, I bought this one with my money. Oh, it's different when you use your hard-earned money. When it was your sweat and labor, it's different. Interesting. Go ahead.
Matthew chapter 12 and verse 22. Then was brought unto him one possessed with a devil, blind and dumb, and he healed him, insomuch that the blind and the dumb both spake and saw. And all the people were amazed and said, is not this the son of David?
Right. So now they're trying to figure out what authority he has to do these things. So this is where things get confusing. You have all of these people that are dressed supposedly for authority, but then you have this man that can do things that none of the others can do. He also speaks the word in a way that none of the other leaders are able to do. Go ahead.
But when the Pharisees heard it, they said, this fellow does not cast out devils, but by Beelzebub, the prince of the devils. And Yahshua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan casts out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand?
Right. He's not trying to cast out the other devils. He's gathering those devils. I sat in a doctor's office and listened to, ignorant Jake saying, if you ain't got the shot, I don't even want them around me. They don't even understand what it is they talking about. Now, the lady about 400 pounds. Rebecca like, that shot ain't gonna kill you. That weight gonna kill you. You like 410 easily. And that you ain't worried about that shot. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 27. And if I by Beelzebub cast out devils, by whom do your children cast them out? Therefore they shall be your judges. But if I cast out devils by the Spirit of Elohim, then the kingdom of Elohim has come on to you.
Right. And you have to look at the division that these things are causing. Our people going back and forth with one another about receiving, this jab. In the doctor's office, their sheet, and it's very interesting. Only one of the sheets had it, but they put the little things out there. Openly says on the VAERS site, you got 2 to 3 years to make a complaint about an adverse effect of a vaccine. They've been practicing on it. They haven't published any test results whatsoever. So all the people who are taking it are the test results. So in 2 to 3 years, your ability to make a claim against the vaccine maker, like you can never make a claim against them because they got to get out of court free card. They are not held responsible for any damages that happen. It's if you make that claim in 2 to 3 years, then the government will pay you. So what happened if the problems show up in year 4? And people tell you how safe it is. All right, well, talk to me on year 4. Because according to their website, they only have 2 to 3 years to deal with something that you have put in your body. And our people don't know any of this. So I got this going on this side of the wall in the doctor's office. And then I got Jake on the other side of the wall pushing something. And every time somebody has gotten the jab and still die, they didn't say, that was a breakthrough situation. It was a breakthrough case. It was a special case. That's why because it was special. It was out of the ordinary, and we don't want to discuss that anymore. Wait a minute. Why is a breakthrough case every time your stuff don't work? Oh, so it's a breakthrough case then, right? Go ahead, brother.
Matthew chapter 12 and verse 29. Or else how can one enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he first bind the strong man?
Now, it's one thing if you are able to bind the strong man. It's something altogether different if strong man bind himself. He just tie himself up and just wait in the corner. The hell are you doing? Go ahead.
And then will he spoil his house. He that is not with me is against me, and he that gathers not with me scatters abroad. Wherefore I say unto you, all manner of sin and blasphemy shall be forgiven unto men.
All manner of sin. I had a question. If someone has gotten the shot, can they be forgiven? What does the word say? All manner of sin can be forgiven. You can be forgiven for a lot of stuff. That don't mean you're not going to have to pay restitution for your actions. Yeah, you can be forgiven. You're thinking about you're looking at it the wrong way. Yeah. But how much you going to have to pay for that? You can go in the finest department store and sign your name and they'll give you a card and you can get some stuff. But how much you going to have to pay for that? Yeah, you can be forgiven. But let's not cry foul when you see you plowing 10 fields and that dude over there plowing 1. Hey man, why I'm doing all this? Well, wait a minute now. You was in your pleasure mode while they were working in my vineyard. I was working. You weren't working in my vineyard. I know who was working in my vineyard because I saw him. I went to my vineyard and saw who was in there. You wasn't in there. So whatever you was working, you wasn't working here. So go ahead and plow them 10. They're going to plow this 1. And then get them half your stuff when you get done. Make sure you don't cry foul. But yeah, you can be forgiven. David committed murder. He was forgiven. But he had to pay for it. Go ahead.
But the blasphemy against the Holy Spirit shall not be forgiven unto men. And whosoever speaks
the blasphemy against, if you looking at what you can't be forgiven for, this is where it gets interesting. when you blaspheme against the Holy Spirit, you have to understand something. The Holy Spirit put people in charge to do a job. When you then go against those things, it's the Spirit that does the works. Ain't that something the elder always told us? The Spirit do the works. When you go against that Spirit because you got another plan, you have then gone against the Spirit, not against the man that you see. What happened when the brother and his wife came up to lie about the land? Mm-hmm. Cephas said, you have not lied unto men. You lied unto Elohim. I know I'm the one you see, but I'm here on official business. I ain't here because I wanted to hang out and see, what the best horses look like that came by here. No. I'm here because I got a job to do. So who you told that lie to wasn't me. You lied unto Elohim. He the one gonna deal with you, not me. Go ahead.
And whosoever speaks a word against the Son of Man, it shall be forgiven him. Mm-hmm. But whosoever speaks against the Holy Spirit, it shall not be forgiven him, neither in this world, neither in the world to come.
Right. So don't take those things the wrong way when we do talk about some of these things that are coming forth. There's going to be a whole lot of people that we may not have believed that we would see in Yahweh's kingdom that will be in Yahweh's kingdom. But just like anything else, there's a price. Hey, we know if we go to the store on this side of town, it's the same store. And you go on the other side of town, you find a different quality, a higher quality for a lower price. Wait a minute, now we got the same stuff. Now why the hell's got a remote and they're $20 less? What's going on here? I looked at this same thing over here on Covenant Highway. That thing didn't have no remote and it didn't have, it was $20 more. So yeah, you can get the same thing. But how much are you gonna have to pay for it? And them delayed payments always hurt worse. Isaiah chapter 55, and let's start that at verse 1. So you got to find out if that's no interest. That's what you got to find out about that payment. So you're going to be adding stuff on while I get my money right? That's the question you got to ask right there. Isaiah chapter 55, and let's read verses 1 through 13.
Ho, everyone that thirst, come you to the waters, and he that has no money. Come you, buy and eat. Yes, come, buy wine and milk without money and without price. Wherefore do you spend money for that which is not bread, and your labor for that which satisfies not? And
I know we've been paying attention to the empty shelves and all of the things that are happening right now. These people are getting ready for some things, and we know that they are getting ready for some things. We have to. Your tentacles have to go up whenever they say that, black people ought to be the first ones to get the jab. When have we ever been first in anything except racing? Ain't nobody gonna beat us running, and we need to run the hell away from some of this stuff here. All of a sudden, now you want us first? Why? Understand something. Just in the era that we came up in, the songs, 911 is a joke. Mm-hmm. Was a song by Flavor Flav explaining how when we call 911, they go get Burger King before they pick us up. Now all of a sudden we first to get this? You ain't even pick me up first. You stopped and got a snack. And I called 911. Now all of a sudden you telling me that I need to be the first to get this? Something don't sound right. Go ahead, bro.
Hearken diligently unto me, and eat you that which is good, and let your soul delight itself in fatness. Incline your ear, and come unto me. Hear, and your soul shall live. And I'll make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of Dawid. Behold, I have given him for a witness to the people, a leader and commander to the people. Behold, you shall call a nation that you knoweth not, and nations that knew not you shall run unto you because of Yahweh your El.
Because of Yahweh your Elohim, other nations are going to cleave unto you instead of us trying to cleave unto all the nations. Go ahead.
And for the Holy One of Israel, for he has glorified you. Seek you Yahweh while he may be found. Call you upon him while he is near.
Seek you Yahweh while he may be found. You got a time window. And that's our thing. We always think we got enough time to do whatever that is that we want to do. When your time is up, it is up. You got a window and nobody knows what that window is except Yahweh and Yahshua. But when that window closes, it's a done deal. Go ahead.
Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto Yahweh, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our Elohim, for he will abundantly pardon.
He will abundantly pardon. So do we have the opportunity to get forgiveness of things? Yes, but we can't fake at repentance. We can't fake at restitution. You can't rob somebody of their good name and then privately go and make an apology. That ain't gonna work. What happened to all those people that you told all those stories to? It's faking at repentance. Yahweh will abundantly pardon, but only if we do it right. What, you think he owned the earth and the fullness therein, but he ain't got enough mercy to forgive? Yes, he does. But he know when we faking. Go ahead.
For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, says Yahweh. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. For as the rain comes down and the snow from heaven, and returns not thither, but waters the earth, and make it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower and bread to the eater, so shall my word be that goes forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. For you shall go out with joy, and be led forth with peace. The mountains and the hills shall break forth before you into singing, and all the trees of the field shall clap their hands. Instead of the thorn shall come up the fir tree, and instead of the briar shall come up the myrtle tree. And it shall be to Yahweh for a name, for an everlasting sign that shall not be cut off.
All right, now there are some that are incapable of righteous judgment because they view what their family or friends commit as different and somehow not as evil as if someone else committed the same act. Yahweh cannot put these kind of people in charge for long. As it is written, when a wicked man is in power, the people mourn. When you have certain situations, Yahweh is going to leave that wicked in power because it's a wicked time for wicked things to be done. But when we deal with righteous judgment, it has to be right all the way across the board. And, you know, we grew up watching a lot of this. You'll find a man and how he deals with women or how he deals with something, and then watch how he look at how somebody deal with his sister. Wait a minute. Whoa. Oh, so your sister better than everybody else? So people can do stuff to whatever to any other woman, but they just can't do it to your sister. That's hypocrisy. There's a problem in the judgment there. If it was good enough for your sister, it was good enough for that other dude's sister who you saw at the mall last week. Go to the next graphic. Now, I have encountered those that believe that it was horrible for their child's father not to take care of his kids, but somehow believe that it is okay for their own kid not to take care of their kids. And even though we may love them, we can no way agree with this thought process. As it is written, he that does not take care of his own is worse than an infidel. And it is absolutely a difficult situation when you have to fight with your brother about your sister. And it says we are supposed to entreat these women as sisters. So then when we get into these things and we say some things, then we are bringing up an evil report on possibly a servant of Israel. So then consider, as people get into relationships and they don't work out, and then you speak negatively about, you know, that brother or that sister, now those tales are going places. Now that's a servant of Elohim that you have put out a negative report on. Somebody gonna have to answer for that. Let's go to 2 Chronicles chapter 32.
Second Chronicles chapter 32 and verse 9. After this did Sennacherib king of Assyria send his servants to Jerusalem, but he himself laid siege against Lachish, and all his power with him, unto Hezekiah king of Yehudah, and unto all Yehudah that were at Jerusalem, saying, Thus says Sennacherib king of Assyria, whereon do you trust, that you abide in the siege in Jerusalem?
Right. So as you are singing psalms and hymns unto yourself to encourage yourself, understand that those that are the adversaries of Yahweh are trying to break down that trust that you have in your Elohim. And you have to understand that. Wherein do you trust? Then instead of you trying to go and quote some prophecy, you need to be building your strength up to get ready to have this conversation. Go ahead.
Does not Hezekiah persuade you to give over yourselves to die by famine and by thirst?
Right. Corrupt communication. And if you stay around that corrupt communication, you're going to be corrupt too. You can think what you want to think. You can believe what you want to believe. But if you stay around it, you're going to end up just like it. That's why the people in the hood act like people in the hood. The people who not in the hood act like they not in the hood. Why? Because they are around certain things. These were the things that we were trying to protect our kids from. But then we look up and they right back in the hood. Hell y'all doing over here? Didn't I pay extra money for you not to be in here? You gonna rescue somebody out the project 2 o'clock in the morning, 3:30, they right back. It was a waste of my time. Go ahead.
Saying, Yahweh our El shall deliver us out of the hand of the king of Assyria? Has not the same Hezekiah taken away his high places and his altars?
Right. So first he questions Elohim. Now he questions the man and his focus on the job of protecting Israel. This is all to make your faith fail. Go ahead.
And commanded Yehudah and Jerusalem, saying, You shall worship before one altar and burn incense upon it. Know you not what I and my fathers have done unto all the people of other lands? Were the gods of the nations of those lands anyways able to deliver their lands out of mine hand? Who was there among all the gods of those nations that my fathers utterly destroyed, that could deliver his people out of mine hand? That your Elohim should be able to deliver you out of mine hand.
Right. They're going to use their past success to say how they're going to be able to triumph over you and your Elohim. It's hard to go against a team that's 15-0 because the hype is there.
Man, when they put on their uniform, people pass out.
What? Hey man, they got to come on the field just like everybody else.
No, not these people.
Their record is intimidating. They intimidate you before they even made it in there. Go ahead.
Now therefore let not Hezekiah deceive you, nor persuade you on this manner, neither yet believe him. For no God of any nation or kingdom was able to deliver his people out of mine hand.
Right. We 55-0. What make your God and your people so special? Oh, my God named Israel. That's what makes us special. I'm called by his name. We're about to tear you up. But you got to know it and stand on it. Go ahead.
You know, and that's also a thing you got to look at. If you're all so great, why are you over here trying to talk me down?
Right. Why are we talking? What are we talking? Come on, Cletus. Come on. You're going to walk over here, but you're going to limp back. You understand what I'm saying to you? You represent the God of Israel. Act like it. You are his representatives here on earth. Act like you representing somebody. Because you are. Go ahead, bro.
And out of the hand of my fathers, how much less shall your Elohim deliver you out of mine hand? And his servant spake yet more against Yahweh Elohim and against his servant Hezekiah.
Right. And they can't speak against Hezekiah without speaking against Yahweh, because Hezekiah stands in Yahweh's stead. That's how you end up blaspheming the Holy Spirit and not even knowing it. He got a job to do. And you running off your trap to him, and all you doing is ticking Yahweh off. But you have to watch and see how Yahweh deal with things. It won't even come from Hezekiah when he get dealt with. Go ahead.
He wrote also letters to rail on Yahweh Elohim of Israel and to speak against him, saying, as the gods of the nations of other lands have not delivered their people out of mine hand, so shall not the Elohim of Hezekiah deliver his people out of mine hand.
So his main thing is to discourage Hezekiah. But in the process, what he's doing is blaspheming the Holy Spirit. Your God, Hezekiah, not going to be able to do this. He's blaspheming against Yahweh while trying to bring this man down. Go ahead.
Then they cried with a loud voice in the Yehudi speech unto the people of Jerusalem that were on the wall, to affright them and to trouble them, that they might take the city. And they spake against the Elohim of Jerusalem, as against the gods of the people of the earth, which were the work of the hands of man. And for this cause Hezekiah the king and the prophet Esaias, the son of Amoz, prayed and cried to heaven. And Yahweh sent an angel, which cut off all the mighty men of valor and the leaders and captains in the camp of the king of Assyria. So he returned with shame of face to his own land. And when he was come into the house of his God, they that came forth of his own bowels slew him there with the sword. Thus Yahweh saved Hezekiah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem from the hand of Sennacherib the king of Assyria, and from the hand of all other, and guided them on every side. And many brought gifts unto Yahweh to Jerusalem, and presents to Hezekiah king of Yehuda, so that he was magnified in the sight of all nations from thenceforth.
Right. So when all of them, when it says in verse 17, and he wrote also letters to rail on Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, Yahweh, Hezekiah took them letters, spread them out before the altar, and made supplications unto his Elohim. And then you sit back and wait for Yahweh. Matthew chapter 24.
And Yahshua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. And Yahshua said unto them, see you not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall all these things be? And what shall be the sign of your coming and of the end of the world? And Yahshua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed one, and shall deceive many. And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in divers places.
Right. Now we're seeing a whole lot of things begin to kick up. But right now, the nations are not directly against each other. They all moving in the same direction. They all trying to get control of their people and get everybody in line. Those nations are moving together. See, that's that thing we have to consider when you say, okay, you got AT&T, he got Verizon. Okay, they're supposed to be competitors. Then you realize when they put out a phone that they took away the option of taking that battery out at the same damn time. Now, wait a minute. Now, I thought y'all was going against each other. How did I lose the ability to take that battery out my phone at the same time at AT&T and Verizon? No, y'all having some conversations that we don't know about. Because y'all just didn't make this decision on your own. It just happened to be at the same time. Now you get a phone, you just got to let the battery die. You just better pop that battery out and power that thing all the way down. That thing ain't doing nothing at that point. Not no more. Now, why they do that? Why don't you have the ability to really shut it off? Because you do understand even when the battery is dead, there's still charge in it. You do know that, right? So it's still pinging, bouncing off every tower you drive by. Go ahead.
You know, when you talk about those batteries, and I'm sure the young people in here who use these phones more than us don't know anything about it. Those first phones, when you took the battery out and put it on the charger used to actually drain it completely out and then start charging it. But nowadays, hey man, you plug it in and your phone already at 2%, even though it's shut off.
Yep.
Verse 8, all these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another.
Right. These are the things that we're now seeing about this jab, to where people are going and talking about, well, I actually had a woman say, well, you know, they're spending so much money on this research. I was like, you don't have a clue, do you? When you're the top traded thing on the stock market, of course you can spend money. All you got to do is deal with profit, because they have zero liability for their product. So when you have zero liability for your product, the only thing you got to worry about is how much money you can make. So if people die, big deal, they can't sue you. Why would you get into any business model like that? Would you buy a house like that? Would you buy a car like that? So why in the hell would I let you put something in my body with those kind of odds? And we're the ones sitting there talking about how much these people have put into it. These people are the top trading. Go to the stock market and see the billions of dollars that they making. Just because you got it for free, the government paying for each one of them shots. They are making billions off of those shots. And then you walking around feeling sorry for the people who make billions, and we arguing for them. They billionaires. We got $22.76. And we arguing at the quick mart. What? Go ahead, bro.
And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. And because lawlessness shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come.
He that endures. So there's something that we have to work through to get to a certain point. Go ahead.
When you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet.
Where you at?
Verse 15.
Okay.
When you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whoso reads, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house.
Right. You go back to the situation with Lot's wife, turning back and turning to a pillar of salt. We then have the spiritual connection connected to those things. You turn back, you're going to die. Because see, you can turn back in your mind. That's what happens when people come into the word. Then they turn back in their mind and start dealing with other things. Then they become spiritually dead. So you got to walking dead and they don't even know they're dead. Go ahead.
Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray you that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day.
Well, they said the Sabbath is done away with. So why would you care if it's happening on the Sabbath? Right. Go ahead.
For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
Yahweh does what he does for the elect's sake, for his servants, and other people are going to benefit from it. Go ahead.
Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is the Mashiach, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false messiahs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
If it were possible, that means it's going to be really strong. Extremely strong, that even the very elect start to waver a little bit. Start to say, whoa, wait a minute. Maybe we should do this. Maybe we ought to just, spend a night with the devil. I promise I'll keep my clothes on. No, you won't. No, you won't. Go ahead, man.
Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he's in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning comes out of the east and shines even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
Right. The second coming of the Mashiach is about righteous judgment. It's about him setting forth a righteous governmental system here on earth. And he ain't doing that through talking. The angels ain't coming with him so they can come and sing some psalms. Now that's our job. We're going to sing these psalms and wait for him. But when he come, he ain't singing. He bringing. The pain, that is. Go ahead.
For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
With power and glory. Those stars, those angels that have followed the adversary, the devil, they will be evicted out of heaven. They will have no longer have the ability to be in that place. And then it's time to go and war with Yahshua. And Lucifer believes that he's going to succeed. He believes that he can defeat the Messiah. And he's trying to get to him by messing with you. Go ahead.
And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other.
All right, go to this next graphic here. Should be a graphic of the Second Coming album. That is now available on our website to listen to. I have been just for a long time, people have been telling me, that they wanted to have the music. Not only is that up there, the album of Ignorology is up there. Parental advisory on that other album, because that was the pre-priest days. So, but there's about 30 songs that's on our website right now. Y'all need to get accustomed to going to our website. Sooner or later, they're going to shut down this internet. And when they shut down, and they ain't just gonna shut it down right away, they're gonna shut down your ability to go to Facebook and YouTube and things like that. So you have to be to the point where you're accustomed to going to your own website. So all of those things are up there, available. Praise y'all to the media team who did, who worked on short notice. Cause I be thinking about stuff 2 o'clock in the morning, So then they, I got people working at that time, but I appreciate y'all to get that up, because there's a lot of people, a lot of problems that end up going into making those songs, and they minister unto us. Just like it says, you got to sing them psalms and sing those things unto you when that trouble comes. It won't be no quoting of scripture that's going to get you out. You're going to have to build up your spirit to get ready for the stuff that you're being confronted with. So let those things do what they do. Let's go to 2 Peter chapter 2. Second Peter chapter 2, and let's start that at verse 1.
But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Adonai that brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction.
Right. We have a media campaign that's going on to give us certain thought processes that we may be able to just listen to the things that they are telling us. When it comes down to anybody doing anything natural, that thing is looked down upon greatly. Greatly. It is shot down by the doctors. It's shot down by the media outlets. You are demonized for doing any of those things. Well, they're teaching our people in the process. Our people are being taught against trusting in Yahweh, our Elohim. Go ahead.
And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of.
The way of truth is evil spoken of. How could you trust in your own body's ability to do certain things? How could you trust that Elohim would do something for you? Go ahead.
And through covetousness shall they with vain words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingers not, and their damnation slumbers not. For if Elohim spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness, to be reserved unto judgment, and spared not the old world, but saved Noah the 8th person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly.
Making them an example unto those that should afterward live ungodly. So you have an example of what a judgment is going to be like. Why would you want to take that? That's why so many people want to go to heaven. They think that they're going to miss judgment. Go ahead.
And delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. For that righteous man dwelling among them, in seeing and hearing, vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds.
Right. When we are around those things and they are taking place, why are we not vexed? What makes you so comfortable in that arena while those things are taking place? Go ahead.
The Adonai knows how to deliver the godly out of temptations and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished.
The Adonai knows how to deliver the godly out of temptation. He may deliver you out of temptations by firing you. You might lose your job. You might get upset. He was delivering you out of temptation. and then reserve the unjust until the day of judgment. They keep their job only to get the mark of the beast and end up getting thrown in the lake of fire. So be careful. Everything ain't always as it seems. Go ahead.
But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness, and despise government.
They despise order. Go ahead.
Presumptuous are they, self-willed. They're not afraid to speak evil of dignities.
Right.
Whereas angels, which are greater in power and might, bring not railing accusation against them before the Adonai.
Right. You look at the situation with Miriam. She was like, hey, Moses is my brother. But Yahweh want to know, hey, how is it you are not afraid to speak against my servant? All the stuff that I have used him to do, how is it you were not afraid to open your mouth wide against him? I don't care nothing about that's your brother. How is it you wasn't afraid to open your mouth? Go ahead.
But these, as natural brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed, speak evil of the things that they understand not.
And that's what we normally do. As soon as we don't understand,
I don't know how they can do that.
here come the evil speaking. That's because you don't understand it. Go ahead.
And shall utterly perish in their own corruption, and shall receive the reward of unrighteousness, as they that count it pleasure to riot in the daytime. Spots they are, and blemishes, sporting themselves with their own deceivings, while they feast with you, having eyes full of adultery, and that cannot cease from sin, beguiling unstable souls, and heart they have exercised with covetous practices, cursed children.
Right. They have cursed their children with the deeds that they have done, and then those things are going to fall on their kids. Because kids do what they see, not what you tell them to do. They do what they see. So you can tell them not to smoke as you smoke a pack a day. They might not smoke the same kind you smoke. But they're going to smoke because they saw you smoking. Go ahead.
Which have forsaken the right way, and are gone astray, following the way of Balaam the son of Besor, who loved the wages of unrighteousness, but was rebuked for his lawlessness. The dumbass speaking with man's voice forbade the madness of the prophet.
Now, how you going to sit there and call that man a dumbass like that, kid? Don't do that. Don't do that. See, you have already upset, some stuff in those people right there, because you're going to sit right here on the Sabbath and say dumbass. But what I'm going to do with all these Jamaicans I got in here? Go ahead, bro.
These are wells without water, clouds that are carried with a tempest, to whom the mist of darkness is reserved forever. For when they speak great swelling words of vanity, they allure through the lust of the flesh, through much wantonness, those that were clean escape from them who live in error. While they promise them liberty,
they promise them things that they are not able to give. Go ahead.
They themselves are the servants of corruption, for of whom a man is overcome, of the same is he brought in bondage. For if after they have escaped the pollutions of the world through the knowledge of the Adonai and Savior Yahshua HaMashiach, they are again entangled therein and overcome, the latter end is worse with them than the beginning. For it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness, than, after they have known it, to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them.
For it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness than after they have known it, to turn from the holy commandment that was delivered unto them. The sow that was washed has returned back to her wallowing in the mire. That means you clean the dirty pig, and the dirty pig went and jumped right back in the mud, because that's what dirty pigs do. Go ahead.
But it has happened unto them according to the true proverb. The dog is turned to his own vomit again, and the sow that was washed to her wallowing in the mire.
Right. Matthew 24, let's go back there and start at verse 32. What that means is some will not be cleansed. No matter what you do. They can get full baptism. They still going to be dirty. Because their mindset is in the same place. See, we think we can keep the same friends, keep the same situation, and we're going to do the same things, but somehow Yahweh going to see it as righteous when we do it. See, you can't get off, if you have a drinking problem, hanging out at the bar is probably not the best place for you. That's just not a good idea. If you're a crackhead, you should not be at the car wash. You know what happens behind the car wash? Matthew 24, let's start that at verse 32.
Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and put forth leaves, you know that summer is near. So likewise you, when you shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. But of that day and hour knows no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
This second coming is going to be one of those things that either you prepare for spiritually, or you're going to be left out in the cold spiritually, thinking that, all right, I can time when Yahshua is going to arrive, so I'm going to get right before he show up. Go ahead.
For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark.
Right. And don't get it twisted. Next verse, and knew not until the flood came. Verse 39. Do understand, all these people saw him working. He didn't zip-tang put this together and gather all of these things. No, they ain't paying no attention. Because they was in their own world. So you got some that are here preparing for to attain unto their salvation, and others just doing whatever the hell they do. They ain't paying attention. So then when something goes down, they crying foul. What are you crying foul for? You saw that man over there working. What the hell you thought he was doing? Go ahead.
And knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Then shall two be in the field, the one shall be taken, and the other left. Two women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken, and the other left. Watch therefore, for you know not what hour your Adonai does come. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up.
Right. Thieves don't tell you I'm breaking in at midnight. Then they lose the element of surprise. If a thief told you when he was coming, of course you're going to be sitting there waiting. I saw a video where a guy was trying to steal a package. I think Kish sent it me. He was stealing the package off the mailbox, and the dude came out with that machine gun. Put it back. Oh, man. You talking about something that was funny. He put that package back, and the getaway driver took off, left him. See, that's one thing you got to learn about Jake. Jake gonna save his own hide. You can believe what you want to believe, but when that machine gun came out, you see the getaway car getting away, getting away without its accomplice. Right. Jake gonna gay. Jake let you know. Oh, damn, I hope he make it. We was together. We was together until I seen that machine gun. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 44. Therefore be you also ready, for in such an hour as you think not, the Son of Man comes. Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his master has made ruler over his household, to give them meat in due season?
Who then is faithful and wise servant whom his Adonai have made ruler over his house? If he's made you ruler over anything, then the first part of the judgment comes to you. Whether it's a house, whether it's a spiritual house, whether it's a job, it comes to you first. He deals with the authority. Yahshua is in the place of dealing with man. Hey, Israel says, let us make man in our own image. All right. I made this creation, put it in your name. All right, but they went wrong. All right, Israel. You got to go take care of your business. What? Yeah, you got to go die for them. What? This was your creation, right? Okay. You got the authority. You got the power. You the only one that can make it right. That's the name we call by. Go ahead.
You know, even in this situation with the master not being there, all the servants still have to work together to keep the job and keep everything going till the master comes back.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine with your time away, if Eliel and I say, hey man, we ain't showing up, we affecting the works of the media department. We affecting the works of the choir.
Oh, yes.
And everybody else.
But you try to explain to people that each thing helps another thing. So when one thing decides that it's going to do its own thing, it then poisons the entire body. And that's what people don't see. You can have a situation where a person does really good work and they did their job, but in the process, they poison other departments because of how they did the job. You didn't allow these people to do what they needed to do, or these people to do what they needed to do, because you were creating your own thing over here. Yes, that work was good, but how you did it was not good. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 46, blessed is that servant whom his master when he comes shall find so doing. Verily I say unto you, that he shall make him ruler over all his goods. But and if that evil servant shall say in his heart, my master delays his coming, and shall begin to smite his fellow servants.
Smite his fellow servants. How do you do that? You cause them not to be able to do the things that they're supposed to do because you got your own way of wanting to do that. See, it's one thing to do your own thing. It's another thing when your thing starts to hinder other people. Well, I hate that they do this because now this is causing the problem with me. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. The way to survive in dealing with Yahweh and Yahshua is staying in your lane. You got to understand when something is, oh no, that's a different pay grade. That's a Yahshua pay grade. I ain't in that pay grade right there. Now I'm going to leave that alone. Go ahead.
And to eat and drink with the drunken. The master of that servant shall come in a day when he looks not for him, and in an hour that he's not aware of, and shall cut him asunder, and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
All right. Where are we? That was
Exodus.
24. Let's go to Exodus chapter 28. Exodus chapter 28, and let's read verses 1 through 16.
Verse 1. And take you unto you Aaron your brother, and his sons with him, from among the children of Israel, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office, even Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar, Aaron's sons. And you shall make holy garments for Aaron your brother, for glory and for beauty.
For glory and for beauty, they shall have holy garments. They shall be set apart and look different from other people. So you got people that want to get into this law and say, oh, this is lawful, I should do that. They ain't even learned how to damn dress yet. Talking about what the hell you want to have. I want to do this. I want to do this because the law said do it. The law also said dress like you got some common sense. But you forgot that part of the law. Right. Go ahead, bro.
And you shall speak unto all that are wise-hearted, whom I have filled with the spirit of wisdom, that they may make Aaron's garments to consecrate him, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office.
Uh-huh.
And these are the garments which they shall make: a breastplate, and an ephod, and a robe, and a broidered coat, a mitre, and a girdle. And they shall make holy garments for Aaron your brother, and his sons, that they may minister unto me in the priest's office.
And his sons. So then we're dealing with the attire of priests. A mitre is a head covering. A bonnet is a head covering. What's the problem? But then you let these people run up on you, telling you that you prophesying with your head covered. Tell that to Aaron and his son. Go ahead. You bad? You got on purple? Go on, say it with your chest. Tell Aaron and his sons how they should not prophesy with their head covered. Tell them. Come on. Tell them. I'm going to be over here. Way over here. Go ahead, bro.
You know, when you look at certain things and how Yahweh dealt with Moshe, Moshe also had to figure things out. Yahweh just didn't, because in verse 3 he says, and you shall speak unto all that are wise-hearted, whom I have filled with the spirit of wisdom. He got to go figure out.
You got to go find them.
Exactly.
That means you put a situation out and see who do something stupid. Not him. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 5, and they shall take gold and blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen. And they shall make the ephod of gold, of blue, and of purple, of scarlet, and fine twined linen with cunning work.
Now, when you are assessing who has authority, y'all know who we look at first. The people with all the gold on. Hey, man, look how much gold this dude got on. That's the first thing we wanted when we got some. I'm get a gold chain. Well, Yahweh did the same thing. Oh, you in power? Put this chain on. What? I hadn't had a chain in 20 years. The last time I had one, it had a cross on it. And it got snatched off my neck. And I said, I don't know why, but I don't feel like putting another of them on. I just got enough. That was 20 years ago to have. Read.
It shall have the two shoulder pieces, therefore joined at the two edges thereof, and so shall it be joined together. And the curious girdle of the ephod which is upon it shall be of the same, according to the work thereof, even of gold, of blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine twined linen.
And what I find interesting is the people that walk around with their Halloween outfits on, they mimic all of these things except the head covering. You get all of this. That's why they got them little, when you do it wrong, they come out looking like a Kung Fu outfit. So, they end up looking like they about to spar each other, but somehow they didn't get the mitre and the bonnets out in the costume. Now, what happened on those verses? Somebody went to sleep. What happened? Go ahead.
And you shall take 2 onyx stones and grave on them the names of the children of Israel. 6 of their names on one stone, and the other 6 names on the rest on the other stone, according to their birth.
Right. So then you see certain things and you understand by the attire that there's a certain amount of authority that individual have. If you go in the hospital, you're going to find all them people don't have on the same outfit. They don't have on the same, their coats, the length of their coat changes, the color changes, and you realize that there's a different level of authority based on what they have on. Soldiers realize by the outfit, hey, you better not run up on him. That's a commander, boy, you're going to get tore up. Food, and you look at his stripes. You look at his attire and you can tell his rank. So you have to consider when Saul ended up speaking against the high priest and they said it is not lawful. It says that you should not speak against the ruler of your people. He said, I knew not that he was your high priest. Why he didn't know? Because he wasn't dressed right. Read, man.
With the work of an engraver in stone, like the engravings of a signet, shall you engrave the 2 stones with the names of the children of Israel. You shall make them to be set in in ouches of gold.
Just sit them in gold. That's how you want to get the attention of Israel? Go ahead, bro.
And you shall put the 2 stones upon the shoulders of the ephod for stones of memorial unto the children of Israel. And Aaron shall bear their names before Yahweh upon his 2 shoulders for a memorial. And you shall make ouches of gold, and 2 chains of pure gold at the ends. Of wreathen work shall you make
So he got a big old dookie rope with a medallion sitting on his chest, covering his whole chest. Right, we thought LL Cool J made that up. Go ahead.
And 2 chains of pure gold at the ends. Of wreathen work shall you make them, and fasten the wreathen chains to the ouches. And you shall make the breastplate of judgment with cunning work, after the work of the ephod. You shall make it of gold, of blue, and of purple, and of scarlet, and of fine twined linen shall you make it. 4 square it shall be, being doubled. A span shall be the length thereof, and a span shall be the breadth thereof.
All right, you finished that?
Nope. Verse 17, and you shall set it in settings of stones, even 4 rows of stones. The first row shall be a sardius, a topaz, and a carbuncle.
So he got gold with stones in it. Yahweh know how to get the attention of Israel. Is that a ruby? What is that? Go ahead.
This shall be the first row. And the second row shall be an emerald, a sapphire, and a diamond. And the third row a liger.
Oh, don't say diamond. That's supposed to be a girl's best friend. Somebody's best friend. So said them people who sell diamonds. Go ahead.
And the third row a ligure, an agate, and an amethyst. And the fourth row a beryl, and an onyx, and a jasper. They shall be set in gold in their enclosing. And the stones shall be with the names of the children of Israel, 12 according to their names, like the engravings of a signet. Everyone with his name shall they be according to the 12 tribes.
Right. And if you see this, then you understand that this is a person in authority. So why we go around listening to anybody? We can't assess authority to see who has the authority in the place where we're supposed to be? Go ahead, bro.
And you shall make upon the breastplate chains at the ends of wreathen work of pure gold. And you shall make upon the breastplate 2 rings of gold, and shall put the 2 rings on the 2 ends of the breastplate. And you shall put the 2 wreathen chains of gold in the 2 rings which are on the ends of the breastplate.
Now, Yahweh can't come short, because remember now, they just came out of Egypt and they had golden cows. All right. So Yahweh already know, look, they like some gold. All right. They tried to make a golden calf. You know, we got to get these people some gold or we're going to have to kill them. Go ahead.
And the other 2 ends of the 2 wreathen chains you shall fasten in the 2 ouches, and put them on the shoulder pieces of the ephod before it. And you shall make 2 rings of gold, and you shall put them upon the 2 ends of the breastplate in the border thereof, which is in the side of the ephod inward. And 2 other rings of gold you shall make, and shall put them on the 2 sides of the ephod underneath, toward the forepart thereof, over against the other coupling thereof, above the curious girdle of the ephod.
And see, this is also part of why we were borrowing of the other nations, because we had stuff that was supposed to be done with all that stuff. He said, borrow you of these people on your way out. Oh, I'm trying to get every 5-year no interest thing I can get at this point, because I'm hoping I'm not here in 5 years. I'm hoping we are the hell up out of here by the time payment is rendered. Go ahead, brother.
And they shall bind the breastplate by the rings thereof onto the rings of the ephod with a lace of blue, that it may be above the curious girdle of the ephod, and that the breastplate be not loosed from the ephod. And Aaron shall bear the names of the children of Israel in the breastplate of the judgment upon his heart, when he goes in unto the holy place for a memorial before Yahweh continually. And you shall put in the breastplate of judgment the Urim and the Thummim, and they shall be upon Aaron's heart, when he goes in before Yahweh. And Aaron shall bear the judgment of the children of Israel upon his heart before Yahweh continually.
He shall bear the judgment of the children of Israel upon his heart. Go ahead.
And you shall make the robe of the ephod all of blue. And there shall be an hole in the top of it, in the midst thereof. It shall have a binding of woven work round about the whole of it, as it were the whole of a habergeon, that it be not rent. And beneath upon the hem of it you shall make pomegranates of blue and of purple and of scarlet round about the hem thereof, and bells of gold between them round about.
So he got gold from his head to his feet. Go ahead.
A golden bell and a pomegranate, a golden bell and a pomegranate, upon the hem of the robe round about. And it shall be upon Aaron to minister, and his sound shall be heard when he goes in unto the holy place before Yahweh, and when he comes out, that he die not. And you shall make a plate of pure gold, and grave upon it, like the engravings of a signet, holiness to Yah. And you shall put it on a blue lace, that it may be upon the mitre. Upon the forefront of the mitre it shall be.
Right. This on his head. This is a holy crown. Go ahead.
And it shall be upon Aaron's forehead.
It shall be upon Aaron's forehead. Yahweh said, I'm giving you these things for glory and for beauty. Glory, that the nations will see that I have placed things upon you, that even Israel will see that I have placed things upon you, and for beauty. We put beauty first. Go ahead.
That Aaron may bear the lawlessness of the holy things, which the children of Israel shall hallow in all their holy gifts. And it shall be always upon his forehead.
I'm sorry, it's always upon his forehead. Go ahead and go tell him to take it off, because he's praying. Come on, Cletus, go ahead. Tell him. Tell him how you need to take it off. It's going to be purple smoke everywhere. Go ahead, man.
That they may be accepted before Yahweh. And you shall embroider the coat of fine linen, and you shall make the mitre of fine linen, and you shall make the girdle of needlework. And for Aaron's sons you shall make coats, and you shall make for them girdles and bonnets, shall you make for them, for glory and for beauty.
So you can tell by the head covering what his rank is. What the problem is. Go ahead.
And you shall put them upon Aaron your brother, and his sons with him, and shall anoint them, and consecrate them, and sanctify them, that they may minister unto me in the priest's office. And you shall make them linen breeches to cover their nakedness, from the loins even unto the thighs they shall reach. And they shall be upon Aaron and upon his sons, when they come in unto the tabernacle of the congregation, or when they come near unto the altar to minister in the holy place, that they bear not lawlessness and die. It shall be a statute forever unto him and his seed after him.
All right, let's go to Genesis chapter 41. See, you find that the nations operate in the same fashion. Let's go to Genesis 41 and let's start that at verse 12.
And there was there with us a young man, an Hebrew, servant to the captain of the guard. And we told him, and he entreated to us our dreams, that each man according to his dream he did interpret. And it came to pass, as he interpreted to us, so it was. Me he restored unto mine office, and him he hanged. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon, and he shaved himself, and changed his raiment, and came in unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream.
Right, he among them Egyptians. He can't go in there with all that hair on. Go ahead.
And there's none that can interpret it. And I have heard say of you that you can understand, and you can understand a dream to interpret it. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, It is not me. Elohim shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, In my dream, behold, I stood upon the bank of the river. And, behold, there came up out of the river 7 kine, fat-fleshed and well-favored, and they fed in a meadow. And, behold, 7 other kine came up after them, poor and very ill-favored and lean-fleshed, such as I never saw in all the land of Egypt for badness. And the lean and the ill-favored kine did eat up the first 7 fat kine. And when they had eaten them up, it could not be known that they had eaten them, but they were still ill-favored as at the beginning. So I awoke. And I saw in my dream, and behold, 7 ears came up in one stalk, full and good. And behold, 7 ears withered, thin, and blasted with the east wind, sprung up after them. And the thin ears devoured the 7 good ears. And I told this unto the magicians, but there was none that could declare it to me. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, the dream of Pharaoh is one. Elohim has showed Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good kine are 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dream is one. And the 7 thin and ill-favored kine that came up after them are 7 years, and the 7 empty ears blasted with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine. This is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh. What Elohim is about to do, he shows unto Pharaoh. Behold, there come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt. And there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land. And the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of that famine following, for it shall be very grievous.
Right. So you're talking about a food shortage that is hitting these people, and that is going to affect the children of Israel at some point, as it is today. These people believe that there are too many people on the earth, and the people who they believe should leave the earth just so happen to look like you. That's why they think you ought to be the first one to get the job. Because you're supposed to be the first one to leave this earth. So there'll be more resources for everybody else. Go ahead.
And for that the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice. It is because the thing is established by Elohim, and Elohim will shortly bring it to pass. Now therefore let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the 5th part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years. And let them gather all the food of those good years that come, and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities.
Right. So even though Yahweh has sent Joseph here, he has given him the ability to interpret this dream so that he knows what's going to happen. He still got to work. Go ahead.
And that food shall be for store to the land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famine. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, Can we find such a one as this, a man in whom the spirit of Elohim is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, For as much as Elohim has showed you all this, there's none so discreet and wise as you are. You shall be over my house, and according unto your word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than you. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, See, I have set you over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand and put it up on Joseph's hand.
So we know we got to get some power now. We got a ring. Go ahead.
And arrayed him in vestures of fine linen.
Got some new clothes.
And put a gold chain about his neck.
Oh, he got the gold chain. Where is my chain? Right. Right. Go to the next graphic. Read Daniel 5 and verse 7.
The king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. And the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, Whosoever shall read this writing and show me the interpretation thereof, shall be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about his neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom.
Right. So when there is a situation of seeing what the authority is, they make sure that that individual sticks out. So when people decide not to follow the authority, they have made a conscious decision not to follow the authority. You knew who it was. You made a decision. Go ahead.
Then commanded Belteshazzar, and they clothed Daniel with scarlet and put a chain of gold about his neck and made a proclamation concerning him that he should be the third ruler in the kingdom.
So you see it with Joseph, you see it with Daniel. Now let's see what Yahweh does. Let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 16. And let's start that at verse 1. Let's see what Yahweh says about Israel.
Ezekiel chapter 16 and verse 1. Again the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abominations, and say, Thus says the Adonai Yah unto Jerusalem, Your birth and your nativity is of the land of Canaan. Your father was an Amorite, and your mother an Hittite. And as for your nativity, in the day you was born, your navel was not cut, neither was you washed in water to supple you. You was not salted at all, nor swaddled at all. None I had pitied you, to do any of these unto you, to have compassion upon you. But you was cast out into the open field, to the loathing of your person, in the day that you was born. And when I passed by you, and saw you polluted in your own blood, I said unto you when you was in your own blood, Live. Yes, I said unto you when you was in your blood, Live. I have caused you to multiply as the bud of the field, and you have increased and waxen great. And you are come to excellent ornaments. Your breasts are fashioned, and your hair is grown, whereas you was naked and bare. Now when I passed by you, and looked upon you, behold, your time was the time of love, and I spread my skirt over you, and covered your nakedness. Yes, I swear unto you, and entered into a covenant with you, said the Adonai Yah, and you became mine. Then washed I you with water. Yes, I thoroughly washed away your blood from you, and I anointed you with oil. I clothed you also with broidered work.
Now, pay attention to all of the stuff that he gave unto the priests. All the clothing, the broidered work, I covered you. Pay attention. Go ahead.
I clothed you also with broidered work, and shod you with badger skin, and I girded you about with fine linen, and I covered you with silk. I decked you also with ornaments, and I put bracelets upon your hands, and a chain on your neck.
And I put a chain on your neck. I gave you authority. You have authority in the earth. The rest of the earth is going to have to listen to the children of Israel. But not just because you are a part of some tribe, because you walk in the righteousness that was given unto Israel. He didn't just give you that chain for beauty. He gave it to you for glory and for beauty. So act like you are somebody, Israel, because you are somebody. That's all we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy.